Today's review is DASHCAM. This is Rob Savage, director, his follow-up to Host, the very well-received kind of instant classic of the COVID era. And this one is also in that same vein, but completely different in its execution, still taking place during 2020 and the lockdowns. But this time recruiting Annie Hardy of Giant Drag as the lead character as we follow her journey. And let me tell you something. I am a huge fan of Giant Drag. I think Hearts and Unicorns is one of the great indie albums of the 2000s. Something about Hardy's lyrics and music that are so strange and beautiful and unique. Just absolutely great. And, over the years, I would kind of tune in here and there to Annie Hardy's personal YouTube channel and see her videos, see her streams and stuff like that. And she does indeed have a streaming program where she'll have her camera on her dash cam and have viewers write in things, and she turn that into lyrics, turn into songs and raps and things like that. And I guess Rob Savage saw that and thought, hey, let's make a movie out of this. And that's what we get in DASHCAM. And I suppose I wasn't really in tune with Hardy's own personal beliefs and or politics. I guess going into this movie actually, only to realize how kind of batshit she is. But maybe I should have expected it from kind of the more bizarre lyrics of that. And, that was kind of going into the movie almost like instantly off-putting, where, she's like literally just one of the worst kind of people during this whole thing, spouting the conspiracy theories, making big scenes when she has to go to a store to put on a mask, and just making a bad situation even worse by acting like a petulant child, which we saw a lot of. And that's my opinion on the whole thing. But that was just the worst kind of person during this time. And of course, you kind of wonder if you want to follow a movie where you're already just inherently opposing the character and don't want anything to do with them. Because, I mean, it's not like something like, you don't have to always be, feel relatable to the character or whatever. Something like Michael Corleone in The Godfather. You don't, have to like this mob boss killer to feel compelled by the character, compelled by the story that they occupy. But it's just that this one hits so close to home, because maybe you can't look at everybody and see Michael Corleone, but you can sure see a lot of people and see Annie Hardy, which is a difficult thing. But I mean, for the sake of art, let's beat on and kind of explore with this character and their world, and a bizarre world it is, and a strange lady she is, and there is something compelling about that. And I mean, it's a way different experience than Host. I think anybody who saw Host and then thought, oh well, DASHCAM's going to be similar, they're in for a rude awakening. Because for one thing, I mean, there's not actually too much DASHCAM in the movie. Like, well, you kind of maybe expect it to be all within a DASHCAM, like Host was all within the Zoom call. Not so much. This one is more of a traditional found footage type of movie, which is fine because it works well and has some good scares. And I liked all that, and I liked how we do have such a unique, quite a unique character in Annie Hardy to follow, which is also a weird thing, because it's like not like she's this fictional character. She's basically playing herself, and not too far from herself. Though I mean I had read into it a little bit and heard that they kind of edited it to make her as obnoxious as possible, and mission accomplished in that. And maybe another issue with the movie is that, in comparing it to Hosts, you can look at Host and say, oh well, it has kind of like not too elaborate set of rules, but it kind of establishes them and follows them through, and you do get a sense of what is happening to these characters and why. With DASHCAM, it's let loose with everything. It's balls to the wall. Any crazy shit that can happen happens in this movie without too much of a reasoning behind it, or overall explanation behind it. I would say. I mean, unless I don't know, maybe like in the deep dark corners of the internet, you can find analysis of this movie and see why everything's happening to this character. But it seems a little more loose and just kind of having some fun. But it's it what it does really well, and kind of does in camera a lot of the ways that we saw with Host, and kind of unbreaking the illusion that we are following this character. So I liked all that, and it's just something that. I guess you just don't have to like the character too much to feel uh, some kind of investment in what's going on in screen. It's like with any other horror movie, I guess. Some characters are very boring, and you can't accuse Annie Hardy of being boring. So there's that. But there is opposite. I mean, I've definitely heard from a lot of people on their opinions on this movie is that she's so annoying. Oh, I just wanted her to die every second. Well, okay, whatever. But it is what it is. But I kind of liked how they're able to kind of harness her weirdness. And I don't suppose we'll ever really see another movie quite like this ever again. Certainly not one with Annie Hardy. As I understand, pretty much like the movie like ruined her life. Everybody kind of brought their hatred of the character to her. Apparently, she really got screwed payment wise. Like, only got paid a couple of thousand to act in the movie. No residuals or anything like that. And she tried to get writing credit because, I mean, in fairness, like what's happening on screen, it's her improvisation, right? Um, which, I mean, that brings up a whole other kind of issue with these found footage kinds of movies. Like, who do you really credit? Like, you can credit, who's kind of laying out the foundation and the premise, as Rob Savage does with this movie. But then with a lot of these, it does have a lot of improv and a lot of, uh, bringing a lot of these scenarios to full realization through their dialogue, through their creativity. So shouldn't they get credit? I mean, it's not like something like Dustin Hoffman. I'm walking here, ad lib kind of line. This is like a full beginning to end movie where Annie Hardy's kind of pulling the reins. So that seems like a raw deal to me. It really does. With this and any other similar type of movie, which I'm sure isn't something that they resolved with the writers and actors strike, unfortunately. So I think we'll continue to see actors get screwed, unfortunately, as Annie Hardy did. But it kind of stands as this unique piece of work otherwise, and I'd say it's something worth checking out, even if you are hesitant to do so. If you're, if from what I've described so far, you're like, I don't want to see a movie with that kind of character, uh, or even if you do happen to be on the other side of that, like, yeah, that whole thing was bullshit, honk, freedom convoy, whatever. Um, Even you might kind of be turned off a little bit. So it satisfies no one is the ultimate thing, but it's not uninteresting. It's not dull. It's not boring. So it's got to count for something. So does it stand up against Host at all? No. Host is always kind of going to be this classic, but I think there's room for this as an intriguing and unique follow up from Rob Savage. So yeah, worth checking out. That's my review today. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned. We're doing spooky season reviews all throughout the month. And until next time, I'll see you later, and stay scared.